during the COVID lockdown.
Sure.
So it gave me something to do.
We talked a lot during that.
We did.
Did you know and not tell me?
I probably knew.
When
at
you
that
did
point.
press for In the Heights, did you know?
I'm pretty sure I knew at that point. Yeah, yeah.
Don't you?
I know. It was fun.
Where we're going, we don't need roads.
You ever get tired of making good movies, or you just gonna keep doing it?
It's very nice of you. It's very nice of you.
Awesome. Awesome. Jake Hamilton, Good Day Chicago. John, an honor, man. Thank you for taking the time.
Thanks for having me.
I kind of want to ask you just sort of about the timeline. When you find out you're going to direct this musical, how long in the process does it take you before you pause and go, how the hell am I going to do Defying Gravity?
Well, the first thing I did was run around the house yelling, yes! This is during the COVID lockdown.
Sure.
So it gave me something to do.
We talked a lot during that.
We did.
Did you know and not tell me?
I probably knew.
When you
at that
did
point.
press for In the Heights, did you know?
I'm pretty sure I knew at that point. Yeah, yeah.
Don't you?
I know. It was fun. It was fun to start
What are you not
plotting.
telling me now? What, is there a part 2 of this coming?
Well, you know, there's lots coming. Yeah, I almost immediately, but I had a fallback. I said, I'm not going to make any choices, anything at first. One, I've been picturing this since I saw it before it went on Broadway in San Francisco. I knew what this movie should feel like, it should look like, and all the gaps that it needed to fill on in the cinema version. But I was, but during that time, I guess I was like, I'm just gonna listen. And so I had Zoom with Stephen Schwartz and Winnie Holtzman almost every day for like 6 months. And we went through every line of the original, of the new version, of the old drafts that haven't been made. And we went through and what versions were made, what versions were thrown away. And I got an understanding, catch-up download on all their emotions of what they loved and didn't love about Wicked. And that gave me some space to think about things.
Wow, what did they not love?
I mean, I think they loved.
I know how to do a follow-up question, man.
I know, that's good. You know, I think it was about when you thought of the movie version of this, what would they love to see? What were scenes that they cut that they wish were in there? Or choices that they wish the audience felt differently? But the audience loved this moment, so now it's a classic. So there's just things like that that I loved to learn about that.
Interesting. Yeah. I've been lucky enough to have seen the show on stage multiple times.
Yes.
When we're in the audience, we are you. We are our own director. We are choosing where to focus, where to look. How much do you think about the choices that we made, and every audience member who's ever seen this in their lives? Because to a certain degree, we are the director of our own experience whenever we see it live on stage.
Absolutely. I tend to just go through my experience of it because I came in as a fan already. I knew the areas to protect. I knew what I felt when I learned new things about the story of Wicked, of Wizard of Oz. I knew what it felt like when I saw her come down in the bubble, and I knew that I filled in gaps in my brain because when I thought about Defying Gravity, I'm like, she flew around the stage, didn't she? And you go back, you're like, oh, she never flew around. She just like lifted up, and I'm like, that. So we fill in our gaps anyway. So for me, it was expressing that. I try not to think about what your experience or what your experience, because those are just too many things. I will say though, when making a movie of this scale, it takes hundreds and thousands of people to do it. And Ari has her own experience of Wicked, and Cynthia has her own, Mark has his own, Schwartz has his own. And we debate about certain things. Like, that's a Bible line. No, it isn't. It doesn't work in a movie because you're talking directly to the audience, and we're not breaking that fourth wall. But I think the audience will go, but we're not doing that. If you break that rule early, they won't go with you later in the emotion. So we had all those kind of debates. But I knew where the avenue I wanted to walk this on. I think the main thing that happened was the perspective switch. That in a stage musical, you are on the side of the audience because you walk into this theater. So a green girl drops in, and it's odd, and she's the joke. In the movie, Cynthia's like, I'm not the joke. And you're like, you're right. The actual audience is seeing if they accept Oz, if they accept your world. And it's crazy, it's singing and dancing, and then this regular girl walks in. Even though she's green, she's like, this place is nuts. So it's almost like Pleasantville. And then she breaks open this simple, weird world. So it's a switch that actually affects the whole movie.
I love that. I'm gonna get you out of here on this. They're trying to pull me out of here. I've always heard that the name Elphaba comes from L. Frank Baum.
Yes.
I'm coming at you from Chicago.
Yes.
L. Frank Baum wrote Wizard of Oz. While in Chicago, we literally have an Oz Park in Chicago with the statues all around. Yep. I'm sort of curious, you talk a lot about the homework and the research you did. Did you go back to Baum, and at any point did the city of Chicago come up in your time in preparing for this?
Well, the World's Fair in Chicago at that time definitely played into what we thought of what the Emerald City should look like. We wanted those references. And then the Denslow drawings were big references into our movie. I went back into Baum's life, who's a complicated character, but at some point he raised show chickens. And so there's a band playing, and those show chickens are there playing the piano. So there's little nods to Baum throughout. But that sort of city of lights, that coming into the World's Fair, was something that we thought of often. He described it as coming into where you could see, it was like the first time a giant grid of lights were happening. So you could see, so we wanted that when night falls there, that you could see that grid of light happening. And that this was a place of ambition. This was a place of acceptance. This was a place of where the animals and the people could interact of all shapes and sizes. And so we very much played into that and looked at designs of that.
John, I just want to end by saying, man, on behalf of all of us for whom the show means a lot, I just want to say thank you, man, because you gave us everything we've always wanted. So
thank you.
I forgive you for holding out and not telling me these secrets when I thought we were friends. You're pulling me out of here.
It's okay. It's okay. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. We had a blast.
Thank you very much.
Where we're going, we don't need roads.